What is that one fact you know that always makes people respond, and why the duck do you know that? The fact that mushrooms are more genetically related to humans than they are to trees. If you fly a lot and want to be an asshole and never pay for a drink or food while in the air, use a credit card that is deactivated and declines. The Wi-Fi in the air doesn't pick it up until it's processed days later. Literally, you can do this every time. Pro tip: make sure the date on the card hasn't expired and it's free cabs and whiskeys the entire plane ride. Every single time. Source: I used to date a flight attendant. It's pretty common knowledge. Gorillas have the smallest dick-to-body ratio, further proof I share a common ancestor with them. It is illegal to carry a fish suspiciously in the UK. Edit: the law pertains to specifically salmon. Hershey's Kisses are called that because the machine that makes them looks like it's kissing the conveyor belt. An adult's collarbone will break with 8 pounds of perpendicular force. A child's breaks at 12 pounds. A Russian woman had a shit ton of triplets, twins, and quadruplets, with the same man totaling up to 69 children. Polar bear liver has lethal concentrations of vitamin A. A 2008 Prius can float, at least for short distances. Car was not damaged in any way. TNT stands for trinitrotoluene. I remember cause I really like the way trinitrotoluene sounds. Trinitrotoluene. That pawpaw trees smell like jizz. Edit: the fruits taste spunky as well. The skin on your lips is the same type of skin as the skin on your asshole. Terminal velocity of an ant is around 3.9 miles per hour. According to some cannibals, the most delicious part of the human body are the eyeballs. They like licking them. You can get prescription methamphetamine in the US. Trade name Desuxin. Used for extreme ADHD or extreme obesity. Cocaine is commonly used on small children and pediatric trauma centers, since cocaine is an anesthetic and a vasoconstrictor. It is applied topically to control pain and bleeding in children that are too young to handle morphine. Wombats have cube poop. In ancient Babylon, people would build their most valuable possessions, fine wine, among others, into the walls of their basement, which in the region was usually a naturally occurring cave, so when the taxman came he couldn't see it to count it. If you want to burn down a building, put potato chips in a toaster with a trail leading from the toaster to other highly flammable things. The potato chips leave no residue and the toaster will pop back up after the chips catch fire, so there's no way to find the start of the fire. All female hyenas are basically Fuda dominatrixes and they give birth through their lady dicks. Ancient Egyptians used to shave off their eyebrows to mourn the death of their cats. Judith Barcy, the 10-year-old girl that voiced Ducky in the first Land Before Time movie and Anne-Marie in All Dogs Go to Heaven, was murdered and set on fire, along with her mother, by her father who then shot himself. Possums eat ticks like we eat potato chips. They'll hoover up 5,000 ticks a week and never get Lyme disease themselves. Rat poison is actually an anticoagulant mixed with stuff like fiberglass. Because rats are always scraping and squeezing into stuff, they build up these minor injuries. The anticoagulant stops their blood from clotting properly and they internally hemorrhage to death. Since a human being is a lot bigger than a rat poison is much less effective on us. Alcoholics decompose faster when they die. Source: was a crime scene cleaner. Edit: so I posted this last night while falling asleep, so here is some clarification. When people die they decompose, but people that are alcoholics will decompose faster than normal dead people. Why? I have no idea. It's been so long since I was in that line of work, I just remember enough stories and facts to stay interesting. Love y'all. Birds need gravity to swallow, so a bird in space would die very soon. Edit: I understand there's no oxygen in space, but by that logic humans couldn't survive in space either. I meant if they had space suits like humans do. The first 1080p video on YouTube was the Muppets singing Bohemian Rhapsody. Stalin's mom sent him to study to become a priest. He didn't like studying, so that he joined a socialist group. He then became an atheist and was expelled from school for failing to attend end-of-year exams. The first thing to form on human embryos is the asshole. Mount Kilimanjaro is the tallest mountain with cell service. You need to lose 2,000 milliliters, 2 liters, of blood to actually die from blood loss. The stringy things inside bananas are called phloem bundles. They allow the nutrients of the banana to travel the length of the fruit. They're kinda like the vascular system of the plant. If you feed a human body to pigs, They will eat just about all of it except the teeth. Several murderers in rural areas have used this fact to their advantage. That Disney is the biggest importer of explosives in the world. Edit. This commercially they don't beat out the US Department of Defense. That you cannot burn toddlers alive in The Sims 4. Even if you make a building full of fire and put 7 toddlers in the burning building for hours. That you can disembowel yourself if you lift weights that are too heavy. Happened to my high school gym teacher, said he's never felt anything quite like shitting out your intestines. It takes 10 million bananas to kill you from radiation poisoning if you ate them all at once, or 274 every day for 7 years to die from radiation poisoning. Edit. My top comment is about slapping a chicken. Yay. Second edit. I am not advocating suicide by bananas. It takes 72 balloons to lift a 5-pound chihuahua off the ground. Those fake roses that come inside a glass tube at gas stations aren't pretty decorations. They're crack pipes. Half of all bank robberies take place on a Friday. If you're a woman revolted by the smell of your guy's gym bag, but find yourself sometimes aroused by it, that's when you're ovulating. You can rearrange the letters in Clint Eastwood's or Old West action, no leftovers. The male pussy has a thorny penis which not only hurts females during mating, but makes it nearly impossible to escape while doing so even if it's forced. When the German army captured Stalin's son, Hitler said that if the Soviets release a German general, then Hitler would give Stalin his son back. Stalin replied, "Why would I trade a general for a lieutenant?" That's right, Stalin was so serious that he wouldn't release a single POW just to get his own son back. Pepsi was once the 6th largest military in the world. The machineal tree is the deadliest plant in human history. The main reason the torture method for real was discontinued was due to the numerous fractures caused by the technique could result in the death of the person being interrogated. If you're going to stab something, always make sure to stab and twist the knife. If you stab without twisting, it will just leave a slit that can easily be mended. If you twist, it leaves a hole that can't be so easily mended. That we have taste buds on our testicles. On the 762nd digit of pi there are 6 nines in a row. Pythagoras from the Pythagorean theorem ran a cult, and another group came to come and murder him by locking him inside his house and setting it on fire. But instead he had his followers make a human ladder to escape the fire, but then abandoned them and they all died. He was murdered later that night being chased by the group in a bean field. The heart, if perfused through the aorta with an appropriate solution, will beat for hours outside of the body. Owls have tube-shaped eyes, rather than spherical ones. This makes it difficult to move the eyes in their sockets, but is counteracted by the ability to rotate their heads 270 degrees in either direction. YKK makes 97% of the world's zippers. That Denmark had an ad called "Do It for Denmark" to try and increase their population. You can carry a knife in an airport if it's under 6 centimeters. Tarantulas taste like shrimp. I told this once to a random stranger because they brought up how they didn't like shrimp. They immediately hounded me about how I knew this. No, I never ate a tarantula. I read a Reddit comment that said it once, then regurgitated it as fact, and they challenged me and I looked like a fucking dweeb. Now I know why. It's cause they're both arthropods. You hear me, random Uber passenger I picked up 2 months ago. Arthropods. A lobster's brain is in its throat. Bee testicles explode when they finish, and they die. Finish living with a bang. The fox has many different vocalizations, including a mating call that sounds like the Hollywood representation of a woman being murdered in the middle of the night. A human tooth has 36 calories. Eric Hartmann, the top fighter ace of history, yoinked Hitler's head. He was being given an award by Hitler himself and had gotten absolutely hammered just a few hours before. As in, he practically couldn't walk. So he's waiting to meet Hitler and be awarded a high honor, is completely drunk, and realizes he doesn't have his hat. So he reaches for the closest one, and it's a bit big. Hitler's Luftwaffe adjutant is just fucking appalled, but everyone else is laughing. The big guy with one ball isn't here yet, and Eric says that it was too big. Then he jokes about Hitler having a big head. He was actually drunk the third and final time he met Hitler too, and according to him, Hitler admitted to him that they had lost the war. So yet, one time the best fighter pilot in history stole Hitler's hat because he was drunk. A nursing sperm whale's milk comes out in the consistency of cottage cheese so the calf can eat it in the water. Bombs can be some of the most effective and terrifying shrapnel, second only to liquid copper. Bombs splinter when you put them in bombs, and can do horrific amounts of damage to soft tissues. Liquid copper, on the other hand, which is not that difficult to get in an explosion, can get through almost any armor like it's nothing. Learned that from a friend who did a tour in Iraq as an infantryman. Chuck E. Cheese's full name is Charles Entertainment Cheese. That a male human body which weighs approximately 190 pounds will literally melt into a standard Sears Lazabnoy recliner when left in the heat during the summer, fusing itself onto the fibers. Also, the smell is unforgettable. Also, dying alone, and nobody knowing you died really is sad. Like, comment, subscribe, share, download, embed, save, dab, yeet. Have a great day, fan.